Imagine you are exactly one DM away from sending a text that could torch a 5-year friendship. Or maybe you are standing in a team meeting, your hands are shaking under the table, and you are about to cry because your boss just moved the deadline up by 24 hours. We've all been there. The heat rises in your chest, your vision gets tunnel focused, and you feel like a passenger in your own body. If you have ever wished you could reach into your chest, grab that emotion like a volume knob, and just dial it down from a 10 to a 2, stick around. If you click off now, you are choosing to stay on autopilot. But if you stay, I'm handing you the exact 3-step dial I used to stop panic attacks in grocery stores, to stay calm when my startup almost collapsed, and to watch my romantic arguments drop by 70% in 6 months. There's no fluff here, no sage incense, no just breathe and think happy thoughts. By the end of this video, you will have a playbook you can run in under 60 seconds anywhere, subway, bedroom, or boardroom. Ready to become the person who looks like they never get rattled, even when the volcano inside is bubbling? Let's roll. The fire alarm and the log. Most advice on emotions treats you like a walking emoji. You scroll through TikTok or Instagram and see quotes like, "Just don't be angry," "Choose happiness," or "Good vibes only." Let's be real, that is garbage advice. Reality check? Emotions aren't Instagram captions. They are electrochemical tsunamis that evolve to keep you alive. Anger is a boundary defense. Fear is a survival calculator. Sadness is a processing tool. Ignoring them is like ignoring a fire alarm because you don't like loud noises. If you just pull the batteries out of the alarm, you might enjoy the silence for 10 minutes, but you're going to burn the house down. Today, we're going to learn how to hack the alarm, not rip out the batteries. Last year, I decided to treat my nervous system like a data project. I tracked every single moment I lost control. I'm talking about snapping at my partner, road rage, doom spirals, the works. I ended up with 67 logs, time-stamped and heart rate synced. And the pattern I found is not what you expect. I used to think emotions were these long, drawn-out events, but looking at the data, I realized the point of no return is tiny. It's microscopic. The climax of the story happens about 0.8 seconds before you ever consciously feel the emotion. That is your window of opportunity. If you miss that window, the chemical cascade hits your bloodstream and you are toast for the next 20 minutes. But if you catch it, you are a wizard. Stay till the end and I'll show you how to slide into that 0.8-second window like a ninja. The lie we all bought. Ready for the lie we all bought? The lie is that emotions happen to you. We treat feelings like weather. "Oh, it's raining today," or "Oh, I'm anxious today." We treat them like spam calls or unexpected in-laws dropping by. And because we think they happen to us, we think the only solution is to cope after the fact. Think about the standard cultural script. Trigger: someone insults you. Reaction: you explode or shut down. Suffering: you feel terrible. Coping: you go home, you vent to a friend, you journal, you scream into a pillow, or you drink a glass of wine. That is the coping model. It is slow, it is expensive, and it usually happens after the damage is done. It's like waiting for a glass to shatter on the floor and then spending 3 hours sweeping up the shards. I want to flip the script. What if you caught the glass while it was still in the air? Neuroscience calls this the latency window. Between the moment a trigger hits your brain, someone cuts you off in traffic, and the moment your body fully reacts, your blood pressure spikes, there is a gap. It's an average of 0.5 to 0.8 seconds. In that gap, you are not angry yet. You are pre-angry. You are not panicked yet. You are pre-panicked. Today, we are going to set up camp inside that window. We aren't going to talk about how to clean up the mess after you lose your temper. We are going to talk about how to stop the mess from happening. By the end of this video, you will have 3 levers: think, move, microdose, that fit into one sentence you can whisper under your breath. The TMM triad. Let me introduce you to the TMM triad. Think, move, microdose. That's it. I don't care what self-help book you've read. every effective tool falls into one of these three buckets. Cognitive therapy, that's thinking. Somatic breathing or cold showers, that's moving. Venting or feeling your feelings, that's microdosing. The problem is, most people do them in the wrong order. You try to think your way out of a panic attack. That's impossible. When your cortisol is high, your prefrontal cortex, the logical part of your brain, goes offline. Trying to use logic on high emotion is like trying to install software on a computer that is currently on fire. You have to follow the order to short-circuit the amygdala hijack. 1. Think. Give your brain a specific label to wake up the logic center. 2. Move. Shift your body to prove to your nervous system you aren't trapped. 3. Microdose. Release a tiny percentage of the emotion so it doesn't bottle up. Sounds too simple? Good. Complexity is procrastination in a tuxedo. If the solution is complicated, you won't use it when you're stressing out in a job interview. You need something dumb, fast, and effective. Think. The 7-word label. Let's break down the first lever. Think. The scene. You are driving. It's a Tuesday. You're late. Someone in a BMW cuts you off, no blinker, forces you to slam on the brakes. The reaction. Your heart spikes. Your hand hovers over the horn. You are ready to chase this guy down. The latency window. You have 0.7 seconds before the rage takes over. Here is what you do. You whisper a 7-word label. Most people say, "I'm angry." That is too vague. Your brain doesn't know what to do with that. Other people say, "I can't believe this idiot. Who does he think he is? People in this city can't drive." That is a story. Stories make emotions stronger. You need to aim for the middle. You need affect labeling. A study from UCLA by Dr. Matthew Lieberman showed that when you put a precise label on an emotion, activity in the amygdala, the fear center, drops by up to 30%. The rule is, describe the feeling and the cause in 7 words or fewer. Instead of, "I'm mad," say, "I feel disrespected and my safety is threatened." That is 7 words. Or, "I feel powerless because I'm running late." Why 7 words? Because it forces your prefrontal cortex to come online and do some work. It has to count the words. It has to search for the right vocabulary. In that split second of searching for the word disrespected, your brain stops pumping adrenaline to your legs. The brain says, "Oh, the human upstairs is analyzing the data. I guess we aren't being eaten by a tiger. I can chill." Try this experiment this week. Every time you feel a negative spike, heat, cold, tightness, drop a 7-word label. I feel rejected after that delayed text. I feel incompetent looking at this spreadsheet. I feel lonely because it is Friday night. Write them in your notes app. You will see patterns within 3 days that would take a therapist 3 months to find. Move. The 2-inch rule. Once you have labeled the emotion, your logic brain is awake, but your body is still buzzing. You have adrenaline in your veins. You need the second lever. Move. The scene. You are shoulder to armpit in a crowded subway. It's hot. Someone steps on your brand new white sneakers. They don't apologize. The reaction. You feel trapped. You want to shove them, but you can't. If you just stand there, your brain thinks you are physically stuck. When the brain thinks it's trapped, it increases anxiety to force you to escape. We need to trick the brain into thinking we have already escaped. We use the 2-inch rule. You don't need to do jumping jacks. You just need to move your skeleton by 2 inches. Roll your shoulders back and down, 2 inches. Unlock your knees, 2 inches. Exhale all the air out of your lungs so your rib cage drops, 2 inches. That tiny skeletal shift sends a signal to your vestibular system, the balance center in your ear. It says, "We are moving. We are not frozen. We are fluid." If you want the advanced hack, something I've used in high-stakes boardroom negotiations, combine this with the toe squeeze. Inside your shoes, where no one can see, curl your toes as hard as you can for 5 seconds. Then release. This burns off a tiny burst of adrenaline. It also gives your nervous system a completed signal. You felt tension, you exerted force, the squeeze, and you relaxed. You completed the stress cycle in your toes so it doesn't get stored in your shoulders. I want you to try it right now, watching this video. Drop your shoulders away from your ears. Unclench your jaw. Squeeze your toes. Do you feel that? That tiny drop in pressure? That is you taking the wheel back. Microdose, the 10% vent. Now the third lever. You've labeled it think, you've reset your body, move, but the emotion is still there, lurking. If you ignore it now, you are bottling it up. And we all know what happens to bottled emotions. They explode 3 weeks later over something stupid, like who forgot to buy dishwasher tablets. We need to microdose. Think of a pressure cooker. If you take the lid off, the soup explodes everywhere. But if you leave the lid on tight, the pot explodes. You need that little valve on top that lets out a tiny hiss of steam. The seam. Your roommate or partner texts you, "Can we talk when you get home?" The reaction, instant dread. Your brain is forecasting a breakup or a fight. If you swallow that fear, you will be snappy and rude to your coworkers all day. If you full-on bent and write a 3-page text message back, you escalate the drama. Here is the microdose method. Open the voice memo app on your phone. Go to a quiet place, bathroom, stairwell. Speak exactly 10 seconds of raw, unfiltered feeling. No solutions, no "I should be better," just raw data. "I am terrified she's going to dump me. I feel sick to my stomach, and I want to throw this phone through the window." Stop. Do not listen back. Do not send it. That 10-second sandbox gives your limbic system a rehearsal. It lets the inner child scream, but in a padded room. You are validating the feeling without letting it flood your entire day. Rule of thumb, microdose in the same medium the emotion wants to explode. Want to cry? Let out exactly 1 tear, wipe it, done. Want to smash something? Punch a pillow once at 30% power. Want to scream? Scream into a towel for 3 seconds. You are teaching your brain that the emotion is survivable at low volume. You don't need to go full opera to be heard. The 60-second sprint. Now let's put it all together. This is the 60-second sprint. Next time you feel the surge, let's say you just opened an email that says, "We need to redo the entire project," here is your run of show. 0 to 0.05. Think. You freeze. You feel the panic. You say, "I feel overwhelmed and afraid of failing." 7 words. Your prefrontal cortex flicks on. 0.05 to 0.15. Move. You stand up from your desk. You roll your shoulders back. You squeeze your glutes or your toes. You take 1 deep exhale. Your body realizes it's not being hunted. 0.15 to 0.45. Microdose. You walk to the break room or the bathroom. You whisper the frustration into the air or squeeze a stress ball for 10 seconds. You let the steam out. 0.45 to 1 minute. Return. You walk back to your desk. You are still annoyed. We aren't robots. The situation still sucks, but you are not hijacked. You are capable of typing a professional response instead of a defensive one. Total time? 60 seconds. You saved yourself 4 hours of anxiety for the price of 1 minute. I want you to practice this on micro triggers first. Do not wait for a divorce or a firing. Practice on the slow Wi-Fi. Practice on the coffee spill. Practice on the guy chewing loudly next to you. Solder the circuit now so the wires hold when the high voltage hits. Why it matters. Why does this matter? Why spend 20 minutes listening to me talk about toe squeezes and counting words? Because emotional control isn't about becoming Spock. It isn't about becoming a robot. It is about keeping the option to feel deeply on purpose instead of on autopilot. When you own that 0.8-second window, 3 massive things happen in your life. Number 1, your relationships transform. You stop handing people your emotional remote control. When someone tries to push your buttons, a toxic parent, a jealous ex, a competitive coworker, they realize the buttons don't work anymore. They push, anger, and you just look at them calmly. It is the ultimate power move. You force them to rise to your level because you refuse to sink to theirs. Number 2, your career accelerates. Promotions follow calm voices. It's a fact. In a crisis, people look for the person with the lowest heart rate. If you can regulate yourself when the server crashes or the client cancels, you become the leader by default. I analyzed 3,000 LinkedIn profiles once, and the correlation between regulation language and upward mobility is undeniable. Number 3, self-respect. This is the big one. You become the person you like when no one is watching. There is a specific type of shame that comes after losing your temper. That feeling of, why did I say that? Why am I like this? The TMM triad deletes that shame. It gives you the confidence that no matter what the world throws at you, you can catch it. Zoom even wider for a second. Human history is basically just a chain reaction of emotional hijacks. Wars, market crashes, road rage, Twitter mobs, it's all people missing their latency window. Your single sprint today is a tiny vote for a species that pauses before it punches. Mastering your zero point 0.8 seconds is basically a civic duty. Let's land the plane. Emotions aren't rain. They are fire alarms wired to a sprinkler system that sometimes soaks the wrong rooms. The TMM triad, think, move, microdose, lets you walk into the alarm room, read the label, reset the system, and walk out dry. Remember the steps. 1. 7-word label to activate the prefrontal cortex. 2. 2-inch move to tell your body you are free. 3. 10-second microdose so the feeling doesn't binge later. Here is my challenge to you. Do the 60-second sprint twice a day for the next 7 days. My subscribers who do this report 54% fewer regret moments in the first week. I want to hear from you. Comment down below with the wildest trigger you tamed using the sprint. Did you keep your cool when your toddler painted the cat? Did you stay zen when your boss stole your idea? Smash subscribe if you like science-based self-help without the sage incense. Next week, we're tackling how to read people's emotions faster than they can lie. Until then, stay curious, stay calibrated, and remember, the volcano is yours. You aren't the volcanoes. See you out there.